Hi, hope everyone is enjoying their Monday. My name is Abra, and I just felt led of God to start a YouTube channel called So Shall It Be. The reason that it's called So Shall It Be is because when God speaks something to you, it's going to happen. God does not speak empty words. He states in his word that when he sends his word out, it's going to accomplish as to where he has sent it. So God has really been dealing with me. I'm just going to kind of talk today. God has really been dealing with me about faith. And I think a lot of people understand faith as, acquiring a house, car, I guess a lot of materialistic things. But what God is really trying to have us to understand, that faith is a spiritual journey. It's not a fleshly journey. It's literally a spiritual journey. So when God says faith, it's believing in what he has said that you don't see or seems to be impossible. Let me just give you an example. Every man has the measure of faith, not the God faith, but a measure of faith. Let me show you why. Let's say you go to a job and you're interviewed and they call you back and say, okay, we want to hire you. You accept the job, right? They tell you, well, you get paid the 1st and the 15th every other week, right? So you take that person at their word. You literally work for 2 weeks before you ever see a check. Because they told you they're going to pay you for 2 weeks, you just assume that they're going to pay you for 2 weeks. So why is it that we are I'm not going to say we, because God has enlightened me to understand that his word is not void. If he speaks something to you, you need to obey it. Faith is really action. Action in doing what God has spoken or is speaking to you. And most of the time, faith is not easy. People make you think, when God says, to do this, it's something easy. No, it's not. More times than I can count, whenever God has instructed me to do something by faith, it's something that really seems impossible. And I'll be like, seriously? Are you kidding? Obey me. At times, I've kind of struggled with obedience, but, through the years, I realized that God can't lie. So whatever he's instructing me to do is going to work out for my good. An example, let's say you have $2,001.12. God can come to you and say, I want you to sow that $2,000. Okay. You think you're just going to say, oh, no problem, and write that check for $2,000 when you only have $1 and some cents left in your account after you give that $2,000? That's not an easy thing to do. But you have to trust when he say give it, it's something far beyond as to what we can see. He wants our obedience. A lot of people fast, a lot of people pray, but they don't obey God when he speaks. It's impossible, meaning it can't happen, to please him without faith, you guys. And in this hour, God is speaking and saying to his people, If you've obeyed me, if you've walked in faith when I've instructed you to do something and you did it, even though at the time you did it, you didn't see a manifestation of it, he's telling us, pick it back up again. I want you to do it again. This time, I'm going to manifest that I showed or told you and you obeyed me to do. So guys, the kingdom of God is all about believing God, believing him at his word, believing when he tells you to do something, that it's all in your best interest. It just really amazes me how people can trust God. Oh, when I die, I'm going to heaven and I'm going to live for eternity. But yet, you can't trust him to take care of you while you're on earth. Think about that. You're trusting him to forever and ever and ever and ever, indefinite. But while you're here on earth, you can't trust him. And something else God spoke and told me, everything that man is trusting in is going to fail him. You can mark that on your calendar. Everything, whether it's your job, your career, if you're trusting in man in it, it's going to fail. So we have to understand that we have to get back to trusting God in all areas of our life. Not just part of it, well, I give you this corner, God, but this other corner, he wants us to submit totally. And when you walk in faith and by faith, he's really killing the old man, because he's going to require you to do things that's not going to be pleasant to the old man. The old man is, no, I don't want to do that. That's too hard. God says, do it. I'll give you another example. God gave me the name of a business, probably 10 years ago. I kept it in my heart. I was like, okay, a business? Yeah, okay, well, maybe, I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, God, look, I'm just satisfied with going to church, singing, leading testimony, and everything is good, long as I get to heaven. And God is like, no, that's not all I have for you. So he literally revealed to me what my purpose was here on earth. And it was hard. When he spoke these things to me, it was nothing I desired or I wanted to do. It was contrary to everything that I thought that I wanted out of this life. It took time. It took years. Chastising, he'd speak something, I wouldn't do it. And oh yeah, he let me know I'm God, I control everything. And I have always been the type of person to where I do what I want to do, Nah, not with God. Not when he instructs you to do something. Believe me, it's best that you do it. Because the little pea brain that we have, we should know it messed up our lives anyway. The way we thought, the way we did things, the way we treated people, it was a mess anyway. Just a big mess. But anyway, to keep it going forward, I started the business when I turned 50. I said, okay, God told me, about this business, so I started it. About 5 years ago, everything was running smooth. I had found a building. I had got contractors. I had got everything lined up to actually open this business up. Now, remind you, this business, this one spot had been vacant for 5 years. Nobody had ever wanted it, looked at it, It was just there. It was the perfect spot for me. So I called the realtor and I said, okay, let's make a bid on it. So he calls me back. He said, Aubrey, you're not going to believe this. And I was like, what? He said, that place just went under contract. Out of 5 years now, it just went under contract. I was so upset. I mean, I even got upset at God. God, I don't understand. All this work I did, you told me this would be my business. You know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Long story short, I'm going to say a couple of months went by, and these are the words that God spoke to me. I had already did a business plan. You know, I had an attorney to do a business plan. I mean, I had it all mapped out. And in order to run this business, it was going to cost me $16,000 a month. This is what God spoke to me. If you can't believe me, at that time, my bills was about $2,500. If you can't believe me for $2,500 a month, how in the world do you think you can believe me for $16,000 a month? That would have crushed you. God had it all in my favor. I thought it was something I could handle. At that time, I couldn't, because I didn't have the faith to believe God to take care of that. But you guys, I will come back on Wednesday, and I will get into more of the Bible. But just remember, I can only give you my experience and what God has spoken and dealt with me about. I can't give another man's testimony. I have to literally tell you what God has spoken to me. I want you guys to really search out faith, the God faith, obedience to God, and the things that he speaks to you, you should obey. And until Wednesday, God bless you. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please think about subscribing. And until the next time, God bless you.